Okay, hello everybody. Hello everybody here in San Francisco. So nice to see you. I was wondering if anybody would show up here, but it's nice to see you all. Thank you. And hello everybody who might be joining us on the live stream, and of course all of you who are joining us on ACIM Gather. I certainly want to give a special thank you for those of you who came here in person today. You know, we're always risking our comfort zone coming to Community Miracle Center for the Sunday gathering because, you know, it's comfortable to stay home and, you know, do other things. But, you know, there's the thought that we're actually risking our lives by being here today. You know, that thought is circulating around in the world. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you just hearing the guidance that you heard and deciding to come here today. I really do appreciate that. Okay, what to do? You know, we're in the midst of the situation with the pandemic, and, you know, what do we do about that? And we get all kinds of information from all over, and, you know, we hear all kinds of things on the news and friends, and we're Course in Miracles students, and, you know, what do we do? So, I mean, that's a really good question. That's a question that, you know, I want to address a little bit here today. Now, Course in Miracles tells us, I am in danger nowhere in the world. And that's a solid workbook lesson. It's workbook lesson number 224. You know, that's real easy to apply in your life when everything is going well. But when, you know, there's real challenges in the world, like a coronavirus pandemic, it gets a lot harder to hold on to ideas like that and to really think about what that might mean. You know, and it's challenging. So I just want to acknowledge the challenge that all of us, and especially all of us, of course, the Miracle students are facing right now. How to take ideas like, I'm in danger nowhere in the world, and apply them to what we do and our behavior. You know, what do we do? I mean, discussions have been held all week long. Do we even continue our in-person meetings here in San Francisco? You know, we have the Sunday gathering, and we have 3 other in-person drop-in meetings. Do we even continue them? You know, we're not directly affected by the orders by the mayor because right now they're for gatherings of 50 or more, and we've never been that size. This is one of the first times in my life that I've actually been glad we were small. Really glad we were small. We're not affected by that. We can still keep having our Sunday gathering, at least for now. So, see, all things work together for good. Sometimes you just don't know. But isn't it great that we could come here because we're small? That's great. The idea that I got from A Course in Miracles, and the thing that kept coming, was the one I'm basing the title of this talk on, neither careful nor careless. If you look at the little illustration on the program, there's one careful little girl and one careless little girl. So we need be neither careful nor careless. Okay, the quote from the Course is, you need be neither careful nor careless. You need merely cast your cares onto him because he careth for you. You are his care because he loves you. So we don't have to be careless, we don't have to be careful, we just have to follow guidance. And we have to put all of our thoughts about those things to the Holy Spirit and ask for guidance and just trust. Trust that we will be guided what to do that will be right for us. You know, A Course in Miracles says, in everything but be led by him and do not reconsider. So in everything we're led by the Holy Spirit. And we're not to reconsider that. We're supposed to just go for that. So if we're to stay home, because that's what is going to suit us the best, if we're to wash our hands every hour, if we're to carry sanitizer around with us, then that's what we do. Because that's what Holy Spirit guided us to do. And we're not doing it out of fear. We're doing it because of guidance. We're actually doing it out of love. We're actually doing it because we're acknowledging our oneness with our Creator. Because when we do that, that's the guidance that we get. But if we get other guidance, we get other guidance. Remember, it says, in everything be led by him, but do not reconsider. Trust him to answer quickly, surely, and with love for everyone who will be touched in any way by the decision, and everyone will be. I mean, sometimes we do what we do not because of our own ideas, but because we don't want to bring fear to those people who are close to us. You know, perhaps we live with people who, you know, are not Course in Miracles students and a little more, you know, hooked into this idea, and we don't want to throw them into panic. So, you know, there's a lot of considerations, and the Holy Spirit is aware of all those things. And you don't have to be careful, and you don't have to be careless. You just have to put your cares onto the Holy Spirit and just trust that you're going to be guided. Now, that being said, you know, there's a lot of this that really bothers me. You know, this whole idea of social distancing, I just kind of hate it. I just kind of hate it, because basically that means stay separate. You know, stay separate. Separation is going to save us. And, you know, when you consider that A Course in Miracles, the discipline of A Course in Miracles stresses joining and relationship, it kind of like flies in the face of everything I've been studying for 30-some years. And I also just don't like the phrase. You know, it's a euphemism. You know what a euphemism is? A mild or indirect word or expression substituted for one considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing. So it's a euphemism. Basically, it's saying, stay away, you know, stay private. But that sounds too harsh and blunt, so social distancing sounds nice. But I don't like euphemisms. I mean, there's been some great euphemisms down through history, like ethnic cleansing. It's a euphemism for genocide. And I hear social distancing, and it just sort of rings in that tone for me. And yet, in everything, be led by Him. And if I'm guided to practice social distancing, then I do it. And I just trust that that's the right thing to do. And if people are guided to practice social distancing, they don't want to come, you know, in person to the Sunday gathering because they just aren't guided to, then I honor that. I don't make them wrong or bad for doing that. And I think that's our challenge as A Course in Miracles people. We can have our predilections and our thoughts, I don't like the term, and in everything be led by Him, and I am to be neither careful nor careless. You know, A Course in Miracles tells us it is essential to realize that all defenses do what they would defend. The underlying basis of their effectiveness is that they offer what they defend. So it's, you know, something to just to remember. So we have all these defenses that we're being asked to do, but there's a downside to all of them as well. They're all going to do exactly what they would defend at some level. So, I mean, if we practice enough social distancing, and if the whole planet, the whole world is practicing, we're going to totally collapse the global economy. Because the global economy is based on people getting together. And if we stop that, we're going to collapse the global economy really big time, big recession, no, depression. Might make the depression of the 30s seem small. You know, we can plunge the world into abject poverty. And how many people are going to be greatly affected by that? How many people are going to die because of that? So, you know, we have to just be aware that this could happen. And again, we're not to be careful or careless. We're to put all our cares onto the Holy Spirit, just all those thoughts. I have to put those thoughts onto the Holy Spirit. And again, just come from guidance. But I am aware of the dangers of just being defensive. Okay, Course in Miracles says all things work together for good. There are no exceptions except in the ego's judgment. So it's also important for me to realize the good that could come of something like this, or that actually is coming of something like this. For one, it's bringing the country together. I mean, it's bringing the country together. All of our differences that we think we have, differences of race and gender and sexual preference and ethnicity, they no longer matter right now. I mean, everybody's affected by the same situation, by the same crisis, where it equalizes everybody. And people actually aren't thinking about those differences right now. They're thinking about, you know, what to do in the midst of this crisis. And it's like worldwide, and I feel it in a way that I haven't sensed it before. The differences between countries have dissolved. You know, China has to deal with this issue. Italy has to deal with this issue. The United Kingdom has to deal with this issue. The United States has to deal with this issue. And we see other countries with their, health structures and their governments dealing with this issue. And, they're all doing the best they can. And suddenly the whole world feels like unified. And one, in doing their best to handle a really difficult situation that's affecting everybody in the world. It's bringing the world together in a way that I don't think will ever totally dissolve, even after the crisis is gone. The memory of how we are all together in this, and we're going to sing all together now a little later on, will always be there. And so, I think that's good. It's forcing us to have faith in our authority structures and our health structures and our boards of health and the departments of public health and the CDC and the WHO and whomever else. At a certain point, even the United States government, we have to have a certain faith in them right now, even if we don't like them very much. But we have to have faith that they're doing the best they can, and to the best of their ability, they're doing the right thing. Because to not have faith in them is worse. That's to plunge us into chaos in the midst of a crisis like this. So you want to have faith in them. And I want to trust, I remember I said this some years ago, I want to trust that the better angels of their nature, they're all going to be appealing to them. They're all going to be trying to do the best they can. And the Holy Spirit is in all of those people too. And we tend to demonize a lot of them, but I think this is a time to just send them as much love and light as possible. And trust that the Holy Spirit's working in them. It's their job. Let them do their job with a little faith and trust and at least love that we can send to them. People, we got a big conference going on. And people have been challenging us about what we're going to do about the conference. And so, that is a big challenge. And Reverend Kelly and I had a talk with the hotel just this past Friday. And, they don't know what to do either. I mean, this is a totally new situation for them. In their mind, our conference is still 2+ months away, and they got immediate things to deal with. They got this weekend to deal with. They just telling us, just thank you, but please chill, because we don't really know. Right. But we were told that the way it stands right now, that if we were to cancel right now, they would have to charge us the cancellation fee. And I want you to know what the cancellation fee is: $187,400. Because they charge you everything that they consider is the revenue they would lose. I mean, they charge you even for all the hotel revenue that they would lose.
What?
Yes, that's how it works. $187,400 if we were just to call them and say we're canceling. So obviously, we can't cancel. However, there are clauses in the contract about something called a force majeure, which means an uncontrollable major thing that was happening that would cause either party not to be able to fulfill the conference. So if come May, it's illegal to hold a gathering for this size, that's a force majeure, and the contract will be null and void, and so we would have no bill to the hotel. So I mean, there's all of these considerations that we have to think about. Force majeure, a clause or a provision in a contract that excuses the party from not performing its contractual obligations that becomes impossible or impractical due to an event or effect that the parties could not have anticipated or controlled. So, obviously, government closing gatherings would be something like that, but that hasn't happened yet. So until that happens, the conference is on. Yeah. And who knows what's going to, it's on. And we're going forward. I had a talk with Reverend Kelly afterwards, and I said, all things work together for good, and we're under a microscope here. The Community Miracle Center, Reverend Kelly and myself, we're under a microscope here a little bit. People are watching us, and the Course in Miracles community is watching us. And this could be our finest hour. How we respond to this and how people see that we respond to this could say a lot about us and our practice and our ability to stay centered in A Course in Miracles principles. This idea that this is our finest hour, that comes from a very famous speech by Winston Churchill. And if you saw the movie about him a couple of years ago, it was there. So that speech was made on June 18th, 1940. Okay, and World War II was going on, and it was not going well at that point. France was communicating with the Germans and trying to negotiate an armistice, a truce. Basically, France was lost. And so they were trying to negotiate a truce, and they did eventually negotiate a truce with Germany. And so the Battle of France that had been going on was now going to be over technically, which meant the Battle of Britain was just going to be starting, which means the full force of the German army was going to be focused on England, which it did, bombed them relentlessly for several years. So Winston Churchill said this, and I think we can sort of see how this works for us, for Community Miracle Center, and for us. We're all miracle workers and miracle healers, A Course in Miracles students all over the world. Winston Churchill said this, but if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and care for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age made more sinister and perhaps more protracted by the lights of perverted science. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duties and so bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
That's great.
So I think we can tweak that just a bit and take it in for ourselves. And I ask all of my people and Community Miracle Center and our supporting members, but really miracle students everywhere. So let us, Community Miracle Center and Course in Miracles students, therefore brace ourselves to our duties and so bear ourselves that if the Community Miracle Center and the A Course in Miracles community last for 1,000 years, let men and women still say, this was their finest hour. So let's shine forth. Let's be guided. We don't have to be careful. We don't have to be careless. We can put all our cares onto the Holy Spirit and trust. And we can be miracle workers and miracle healers, and we can demonstrate the blessing of that. Because I think this is going to be our finest hour. Thank you.
Yay!
All this love I feel for you, a cloud in heaven was made for you. I want to heal you, woman, and make you happy. All these words I'd like to say, I can wish and I can pray. I'd like to raise you, woman, and set you free.